episode of Nintendo Pow Block is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to find out more about Boss Rush Media's family of podcasts, head on over to patreon.com/Boss Rush Media to see which tier is right for you. Thanks for helping us build something better. Hello everybody, welcome to Nintendo Pow Block here on Boss Rush Games. I'm your host and I take excited ADV. Joining me is the one, the only bossman himself, Mr. Corey Derrick. Hello, good sir.
Hello, welcome to this Friday night edition of Pow Block, where we will be talking about things and stuff.
Yes.
Probably Nintendo.
Of course, a lot of Nintendo stuff.
But you never know. Man, 10 o'clock, man. Friday. It's been a week, man.
And
also, this is the second episode we recorded this week.
Again.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about going order some pizza, but I'll get to what I little thing against Nintendo. But I was just like, nah. I'm like, I could order pizza, but then I know if I call them, I'm gonna probably get some rude customer service, and then I gotta drive half an hour to get the pizza, and it may not be ready.
Sounds like a lot of work, man.
It is. So just like,
you should just be like me and live around, 75 pizza places, and then you'll be fine.
I mean, I have Domino's.
Then get Domino's.
Yeah.
That's good.
I had Domino's early this week.
Domino's, man. The best garbage pizza you can buy.
Kind of wanted like a deep dish, but then I was just like, no, I don't feel like all that breading. Like, I kind of wanted. I was thinking of doing something like thin crust. So, but I'm like,
deep dish isn't real pizza. You guys are weird out there in Chicago. I'm telling you right now.
Why?
Weirdos.
Why? It's a Midwestern thing.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Chicago's the only place that sells deep dish on purpose.
No, deep dish is in Indiana also.
Well,
and Wisconsin.
Nobody counts Indiana and Wisconsin's cheese. Okay. No. You are a liar.
I'm not a liar.
Anyways, why is my camera crooked?
Like,
okay.
Like, you can even buy deep dish pizza in grocery stores. So it's just like,
nobody buys
everywhere.
It. Nobody buys it. It's for show.
I buy it.
It's because you're from the weird place that makes it.
What are you talking about?
I don't know, man. It's late and I'm tired and I'm chugging this Red Bull like it's my job.
Dude, we had a whole empty aisle in our cooler for the Red Bull. And I'm just like, why do we got all this Red Bull in the back? Like, we got cases and no one's been putting it out.
Well, put it out.
Well, that's the thing. I put it out yesterday because I've been gone at different stores. And I've been at registers most of the time. So I haven't been able to be on the floor or anything. So I'm like, okay. I finally just got a chance to put stuff out for it and everything. It's like the 12-ounce cans. Some of the 12-ounce and 8-ounce stuff. And I'm like, we got all of this stuff. We got these empty racks, and none of y'all could go in the cooler and just put them out while I was gone. Crazy. So I got them all out. It's looking nice. And just got to see how much, like, well, not how much, but how quickly they will sell and everything. So we shall see. But Corey,
what do you want?
Before we get into Nintendo, I want to talk about playing with power real quick.
You're doing playing with power first?
Yes.
Oh no, I got in a lot of trouble by some people about me dumpster firing Alan Wake last week. By the way,
so they're gonna have to be mad, and because we're about to add some more dumpster fire to it.
Play the DLC, by the way, real quick before you go, because I know you're gonna go kind of long on this. The DLC is worse than the game.
See, I
go here, and they're gonna throw cars at you instead of enemies, and then It's like, what is happening?
Well, before we get into that, everybody, it's time for Playing with Power. Um, okay, so we're going to be talking a little bit about Alan Wake, and if you want to experience this game, it's available for Switch and every other platform, the remastered version. I think this is why I didn't really like Remedy in the first place, was because of Alan Wake. And I will admit,
You can't.
I didn't play
Okay,
Max
okay.
Payne.
Hold on.
It's hold on before you go in. It's one of the things that sometimes I have to play a game from a developer to get them. And at that time, like I said, Alan Wake was my first game from Remedy that I completed. Um, and it was just, I felt like it was nonsense of a lot of decisions that were made. So I really wasn't into Remedy as a company. And now I feel like definitely after playing Control, Quantum Break and Control, I should say, I feel like Remedy, not, no pun intended, remedied uh me
Ah, I see what you did.
enjoying their game, because this is the same thing happened with BioWare. Love Jade Empire, but couldn't get past parts of the game because it was just some weird stuff. And I want to go back and play it because I got the physical copy. But I didn't like Kotar. Um and I didn't go for Knights of the Republic 2. Um I my friend was just like, stick with them as a company and play Mass Effect after they dropped. So I played Mass Effect, and Mass Effect 1, I was just like, okay, I get what they're trying to do, the decision making, but the gameplay is still terrible. And
Yeah, I on Mass Effect, like especially, I mean the Legendary Edition is much better, but I do want to say the first Mass Effect, man, that shooting is really rough until you spec into it, right? And then
mhm.
like, I mean, the story is what keeps you going in Mass Effect, right? But like two
Yes.
and three are like 1,000 times better than Mass Effect One. I think Mass Effect One has the best story, though, in my opinion.
See, that's what I kind of
Dude,
feel
Saren
like.
is such a cool villain.
Yes. But I think I like Mass Effect 2 because of the characters. And uh like Garrus. Like like I don't know who doesn't like him. He's top tier. Like he's like a top tier and best character of all time. And when I saw
Hmm.
him too, I was just like, yes, and everything. Cause I didn't play two until I didn't play all of them until I got the trilogy. So I was just like, I'm gonna play the trilogy and go through all three games back to back to back. And because of the Mass Effect trilogy, that's when I was just like, okay, I now get Bethesda, not Bethesda, I'm sorry. Now I get BioWare. Now I understand their structure and their designing games. The choices that they make, why the gameplay is a bit better. And that's why I didn't have a problem with Mass Effect Andromeda and everything. Cause whatever people think about that game, Andromeda cut me hooked. I liked the gameplay. The story was fine. Maybe not so much memorable, but it really was a great game to me. I'm like, I'll give it an 8. I'm like, it's not a bad game. But I think it took to Mass Effect 2 for me to get them. And I think that's the same thing with Remedy, that I enjoy Quantum Break. I'm like, okay, I could see them improving. And then I felt like Control was, yes, there's still some technical issues and there's some issues here and there, but I love when they could tell a story like this with some of the weirdness. And when they do make a great level, um with that game, I was just like, okay, this is why I kind of get Remedy and everything. But Alan Wake, just like, it didn't make me not want to play any more of their games. It just didn't make me a fan of them as a company for a bit. It was just it was just been puzzling on the decisions that they make. And then when it got close to the end of Alan Wake, they just dragged it on. And that's why I kind of felt like, okay, y'all didn't really have a plan for the story because everything y'all doing doesn't make sense at all. So now y'all just throwing, it feels like y'all just throwing ideas and stuff in just to make the game longer.
My thing with Remedy, I mean, I think we both agree that, I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I liked Max Payne when they came out. I mean, I know they're remaking them and they're probably going to be better when they remake them, but
Hmm.
like I remember Max Payne being pretty interesting when it came out. I doubt it holds up because it's from that era of games that didn't really understand how to like, position cameras or just that era, right? I think most people understand what I mean when I say that era. PS2, Xbox, mm-mm. But I think when they remake them, I'm going to be really interested when they remake them. But I mean, for me, like Remedy, I mean, remember when we did the first round of video game book club?
Yeah.
Like we did Control, and my complaint was that the controls were not great. But then, like they did that 60 FPS mode, and I replayed it, and it was awesome. Like I, I really liked Control. I really liked Quantum Break. They feel awfully similar,
Yes.
but there's just something about Alan Wake, and I'm playing the remastered version, and I know like I know that, it's from 2010. I mean, obviously there are games that came out before that that are better control wise, but like the biggest problem I have with Alan Wake is the controls. I mean, I don't like the story either, but I know that people like that hipster Twin Peaks bullshit. But oh, whoops. But like I think the controls are bad, and I think having to run from light post to light post to get a checkpoint, and I don't know, man. There's just something about it that it just I don't like the game. Like,
It
and I know people love it and defend it, and but man, ugh.
the thing with me is it takes work to enjoy this game, and it takes too much work. I'm like, so I gotta shine the light of him, and I gotta shoot him. Okay, everybody, before you get on me about Luigi's Mansion, about you having to shine on the ghost, and then you have to vacuum him up. I'm like, okay, yeah, the concepts for those feel similar. The thing is that with Luigi, you don't have to worry about ammo. And
Well, it's not just that. I never had a problem with ammo,
oh,
but
I
like
had too many problems
it
with
felt like
ammo.
it felt like the old Resident Evil games. Like, remember when you would like have to stand right in front of the zombies to shoot
Mhm.
them, or like the bullets wouldn't hit? That's what this felt like. It just felt like there was no rhyme or reason. Like if you're shooting at an enemy, like the bullets just wouldn't hit, right? And I think it's because like yes, I would shine the flashlight on them, but like a in other games that's the aim down sights button, right? So like I feel like aiming, aiming down sights with the flashlight was maybe it was just throwing me off in terms of like where I was shooting, but like I just felt like I was never hitting the enemies, you know?
Because you had to me, it's just like you had to shine a light on them to make them physical to shoot them. So that's why I was just like, why am I doing this much work? You don't give me enough bullets or anything. Um, and then the battles just dragged on. And
Yeah.
I think that was the problem with Alan Wake with me. It was just like the combat is just too long in a lot of areas. I don't need it to be like I could understand if it was a 5 or 7 minute battle, but when things become to like 10 or 12 minutes, and I gotta fight all of these enemies and everything, and if I die, I gotta redo all of this over. It was just complete and utter nonsense. And I'm just like you it should have been better. You know, there are some story beats and parts that I did enjoy that but it's just like that combat felt terrible, and it felt just too
Yeah.
long for battles. Now,
Just to go back
okay,
to the combat real quick before you move on. Like I I understand that you're not supposed to fight in every encounter, right? Like you're not supposed to fight in every encounter, but like still, like if I'm not supposed to fight these guys, uh, like I don't know, man. I understand that, but like why are there so many guys, and do I have to fight them to get to the next checkpoint or not? And if I just run towards it, like here's the other thing too. Okay, here's my other thing with the combat. There's no radar, right? There's no radar. So like if there's enemies behind you, you just don't know until they hit you.
Right.
There's no and even I don't care that there's no radar. There's no indication that there's enemies behind you. Like even a little arrow pointing, like like when you're in Destiny, for example, when there's enemies behind you, there's little. I mean, I know you have like a radar in that, but there's also like a little, you know, mechanic that tells you that there's enemies behind you. You know, and that was really annoying, and that's how I died most of the time, was like an enemy came up behind me when I was trying to dodge the one in front of me, and that really sucked.
Especially when places is that is too dark. And I know
Yeah.
that was a complaint that we talked about last time, and yeah, you could brighten it. But I'm like, I can't. It felt bad to me that I couldn't play this game during the daytime because there was some stuff I could not see. So I literally had to wait at night, cut my lights off, and play this game. Yeah, I can understand that's the move, but it shouldn't be something that's forced for me to play in order to see these enemies and
Mhm.
everything. It was just, I just
It
feel
was
like,
it was
okay,
annoying. Like a lot of the stuff was annoying,
yeah.
and like the dodging, like also half the time I would press a button and like it wouldn't do what I asked it to do, or like when you would go to like switch out weapons or the flashlights when you found a better one in the
Mhm.
world, right? Like, when I would go, it says press B to pick up, and I'm, like, holding it down, and, like, I would let go because I was like, "Is it" like, the time between you picking up the new flashlight and the time you press a button between that and, picking up pressing B to pick up the flashlight, holding B, like, the time between there is is too long, because I would sit there and be like, "Well, maybe it didn't read my button press," or, you know what, and I would let go of it as he was, like, bending down to pick it up, and then he wouldn't pick it up, and then I would have to hold it again, you know, or like a weapon, which is like, how's come I can pick up ammo instantly and not a weapon or a flashlight? Or, um, why am I pressing L1 and I'm not dodging? Where's my stamina meter if I'm running away? Just little things like that would have improved this game drastically,
Right.
you know?
And
And
see,
I don't know, maybe I'm just let's I came off of like I play shooters like Destiny. I play like right before this I played separate Resident Evil 4 separate ways, and maybe I'm just stuck in that shooter mode where like Resident Evil 4 controls pretty well. Destiny is a masterclass of shooting. And like I go to Alan Wake from these two games and it's like it's like pulling teeth, man.
and I understand it's s- I think this is why I had a lot of problem even with some Sony games, definitely Insomniac. Like, I'm not knocking Insomniac for a lot of their decisions, but some of their platformers and stuff. Um, and even like God of War and parts of like Uncharted. I think I hate when I'm stuck in a battle and I gotta hold something to unlock, and then enemies attack me, and then I gotta let go, trying to fight them off or run away so I can get back to holding the button. I just don't like holding buttons in games that require combat. Because that makes the progress a little bit longer. I don't understand it's supposed to be a challenge, but I just do not get it and everything.
Mhm.
Uh, so and I know I didn't say much about Nintendo games. I didn't say much about Microsoft games because I think stuff like that I don't recognize or deal a lot with in those games. Nintendo would have me just pressing like the A button or B button 50,000 times. And I feel like okay, I'm better just rapid, hitting a button than just holding it and having to wait for stuff to go through and trying to see that circle and everything. Um, so, um, I now to say this, I am looking forward to Alan Wake 2. I feel like they learned a lot from Control, and so they probably gonna be implementing some stuff into that game. I hope I don't have to be fighting 5,000 enemies every 10 steps and everything. I don't want to do any of that. Like I could understand some challenges, some survival horror, but like I want to be able to get from point A to point B with maybe one or two battles. And if I get to point B, I want to be able to explore, search, do some puzzles, find more of the story, get some cutscenes, and then just go. I want to make progress in this game and
Hmm.
everything. I don't want to be hindered by having to do too many fights with unfair advantages, like not having enough bullets, or even doing like some melee combat. Like I don't want to be shining lights on them and everything. Just make them physical. I mean, just make them in a physical form with some red eyes, and let's get to battling. You know,
Hmm.
let's be able to do that and everything.
Hmm.
And now that you and now since Alan Wake is part of the Control universe or the Remedy universe, I'm like, shoot, give me some unlimited bullets or something. Like, give me give me something that I could fight with that I don't have to worry and everything.
Yeah, it's just that game. That game's weird. I don't know. Look, I had I had zero interest in playing Alan Wake 2 and to begin with, and now I have less than zero interest in playing Alan Wake 2. I just don't want to play it like at all, even though we're playing it for book club. But I seriously don't want to play it, and I'm considering dropping out of that book club because of how much I don't like Alan Wake 1.
If that's
I'm
the
just
case,
not interested.
I may have to take your spot there because I am going to play it. And I'm going to be fair. I hope this game is. I hope Alan Wake 2 because I think people are playing it now for reviews and everything.
Hmm.
Getting it ready, written up. Hope it's better than the first game. I really do
Yeah,
hope so and everything because I want to
yeah.
see who this new main character is, and I kind of want this. Hopefully, there's a conclusion to this. Don't give me no cliffhanger if I gotta wait all of these years or DLC or whatever to get the end of the story. No, conclude this game, and if y'all want to do Alan Wake 3, fine. Give it a new story. I would be completely fine with
I'm just I don't know, man. I can't. I just can't do this. I liked Control. I thought Control was
it.
awesome. I hate that they connected Control to this. I mean, an Easter egg or even the DLC would be interesting, but like the fact that they like really connect to each other now, like they're gonna just intersect in each other's games now, and I just, man, I can't do this. This actually bums me out for Control 2 because do I have to play Alan Wake 2 to play Control 2? I don't want to. Do I have to? I don't want to.
I feel like Control 2 might be its own separate thing, story wise.
Well, they said they're
Everything.
interconnected.
Um, yeah, well,
So,
we'll definitely see in the future. I will say this though. Uh, it is getting, you know, it's spooky season for some people. Um, and I've been enjoying Death's Door, to say the least. I didn't get Detective Pikachu Returns yet. I know it just dropped today, but I didn't order it or anything. I'm gonna do that next week and give it a try. Um, I didn't get to Resident Evil 6, everybody. I'm just gonna admit that. It's downloaded, it's ready to go and play, but I didn't get to it because of playing Death Store. Like I like I said, I think I'm gonna try to 100% it on Series X. Um,
Man, even Resident Evil 6 is better than Alan Wake.
I mean, I think
I
I'm gonna.
like Resident Evil 6 though, but I'm more actiony than horror-y,
Mhm.
so
And see,
I don't know.
I know I'm gonna play Resident Evil 6 on easy. Um, I'm lowering the challenge for myself is because I kind of want to just get the story and see how the game goes. Um, because I'm like, there's 3 stories I got to get through. And
4, I think, actually, technically.
4, okay, and I think it's 6 hours for each campaign, or I think,
I honestly don't remember, to be honest. I really don't remember.
yeah, and I'm like, I want to see what this game has to offer and everything. And plus I'm starting it from the beginning because I was doing Leon's story first. Um, with the
Yeah.
helicopter, like the one that they kind of showed the demo with. So I am gonna start that while doing Luigi's Mansion 3. I'm downloading that on my Switch so I can start that Sunday. Um, but yeah, I just been playing Death Store. I'm close to the end. Um, and there's just so much stuff to that game that I did not finish on Switch, and everything. So I was just like, oh, there was more stuff I was supposed to do. Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'll finish it on Xbox and uh do all the extra stuff and everything.
Yeah. I man, there's a lot. I don't know. There's too much to play right now, and I I don't know. I feel like I'm not playing what I'm supposed to be playing because of book club, and I'm playing stuff that I don't want to play because of book club, and there's just a lot to do, man.
Yeah, I will be getting Forza Motorsport for Series X, and I am getting prepared for Super Mario Brothers Wonder, um, and I feel like I might end up beating that throughout the weekend, depending on how that my schedule goes with that, because I'm so excited to play that game and everything. I may try to 100% that too on my first try to see what that game offers. Um,
Oh,
and just I think I want to see people failure and get upset through that game. To see how this kid like game is like really challenging to adults. Because I think that's the Mario. I think Mario games are very challenging to adults.
yeah, I don't know, man. I That's all I have to say. Is a big sigh. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, that's wowie zowie. Why everybody's been bringing that word, that phrase? Everybody be like, "Well, wowie zowie." I was just like, "How did you know
It's
about that?"
from yeah, yeah. I don't know.
uh,
My brain is broken after this week, so I apologize everybody out there if I am just not making sense in some way, but it's fine. Promise.
so, um, but I think that's pretty much it for playing with Power Work. Or have got anything else? Anything?
Well, since there's only been one day between recordings for me, like this week, because Wednesdays and Thursdays I record too. I mean, I've only been playing the Alan Wake DLC, and I finished the Season of the Witch story in Destiny,
Hmm.
and it ended pretty cool. Except like half of it is part of a lore, like half the ending is a cutscene, which is cool, but the other half of the cutscene of the ending is buried in a lore entry. Like as you play, for those who don't know, as you play Destiny, and you accomplish certain feats, you unlock lore books which tell you more about what's going on in the universe and stuff. And the other half of the ending, which is really important to the future of Destiny, is locked away in a lore page. You know, something happens in the finale of the season, and you realize that what you think you just saw, like, doesn't it? I mean, what you saw happened, but it like, all right, I'm just going to spoil the season of the witch. If you haven't finished the story in this season, just whatever. So this season is all about Eris Morn finally becoming a hive god, and at the end of this season, Savathun, the Witch Queen, which was what last year's expansion was all about, what was about Savathun, um, she comes back and she's killed at the end of the Witch Queen, and she's resurrected in this season, and she comes back and teases Eris Morn, or kind of like tries to mess with her mind, and Eris is still in her hive form, and all of a sudden she just takes this knife and slits her throat, and you watch Savathun die again, right? And that's kind of like the end of the cutscene. I mean, Amaru kind of mentions Amaru is Savathun's ghost because she was blessed with the light by the Traveler, which was what Witch Queen was all about. Is that the
Mm,
hive have been blessed by the Traveler with light. Um, Amaru is her ghost, so like she's resurrected, and you kind of figure that because her ghost is still alive, right?
yeah.
Like he'll just bring her back, and he does, but he does in this lore page, like this lore book that you have to unlock, and you have to read the rest of the ending. And for people who just play the story and don't like I think I think the statistic is something like 82% of the people who play Destiny don't read the lore at all. So like if you're just playing the season story and you end it and you're kind of not paying attention to everything, like you're gonna think Savathun's dead. And so when she shows up next season, or you know, in the final shape, you're gonna be like, well, why? I thought Eris killed her, you know. And the other thing too is that Eris pulled Zivu Arath, who is the Hive God of War, uh out, like she like pulled her out of her throne world, which is like that's a whole nother thing. Throne world is basically when one of these hive gods die, their soul goes to something called a throne world, and so they can live between worlds. Um, Also, uh, Marasov has one too, but I don't really understand how she has one. Maybe it's not just hive, but yeah, and like somehow uh Eris pulled Zivu Arath's soul out of her throne world, and I don't know. Well, I guess we'll find out next season what's happening. But anyways, the story. Other than that, like the story for this season has been the best of the entire year, including the
Mm.
expansion. Uh, but the way they ended it is not wonderful. The cutscene was cool, but they didn't finish it, in my opinion.
Kind of
So
same way like Castlevania Nocturne that I watched. Um, just Wednesday on my day off.
uh,
Oh boy.
yeah.
Um,
So yeah.
oh goodness. I will before we get into snack tender, everybody. Um, I if you see the Castlevania anime and Castlevania Nocturne, I I would say stick with the Castlevania anime. Nocturne is fine. Um, it's really supposed to be like this play on Dracula X, um, which was the PC Engine CD game, which also came to America for Super Nintendo without the cutscenes and stuff. Um, which is Rondo of Blood for the Super Nintendo. Um, it's I it's a good anime. People want to see it, but I'm like, I think the first Castlevania, those seasons that they did, like that original story or that story that they told, is way better than Nocturne.
Mm.
So, um, just my opinion. But Corey, let's get into Snack Tendo. This might even be a quick Snack Tendo because
I don't have anything because I mean, we recorded on Monday, and I can only eat s bad things on Saturdays, so,
Right.
I had a chicken salad for dinner.
I had Jimmy John's,
Mm,
um, which now, I kind of realized that like I was looking at the menu, to order the food off the app and stuff. Um, for some other reason, like they used to not show what the meal was, what was all in the meal and everything, what was all in a sandwich. They was just had the name of the sandwich and stuff. But
mm,
I think they started showing that now. So I just got a Pepe and called it just like cut it in half, add some oil and vinegar, um, extra mayonnaise, and send it. It literally because the Jimmy John's is literally like down the street from us, not too far. I think I ordered it and then like within 4 minutes got my sandwich.
mm,
He was just like
nice.
Eddie V. I was just like, oh, that's me. He's just like, thanks. I was like, oh, that was quick. Did you hop, skip, and jump across the street? I'm like, I should. Sometimes I want to tell the people from Jimmy John's, can y'all stop by Dunkin' Donuts and give me a coffee and 2 donuts? Give me some munchkins or something. Because
Wow.
it's Dunkin' Donuts, Poke Bowl, and then Jimmy John's.
Mm.
Because across the street is Panera Bread and Chipotle and Pot Bellies and everything. So my few selections of food to eat. Yeah.
We
Um.
have some food questions though, Ed.
Oh yes.
Um, okay. So people kept submitting food questions, which, is fine. Uh, so I wasn't expecting this when I created the doc this morning. But our friend Adam Campbell, it's an either or, Ed. Um, Austin Campbell asks, "Whoa, what's going on over there, man? What are you doing?
Oh, sorry, I had to move my legs.
Crumpling newspaper?"
Oh,
Anyways, uh, Austin Campbell asks, "White or yellow queso?"
yellow queso.
Oh, I think the correct answer is white queso. It's way better.
I
It doesn't taste like spray cheese in a can. Like,
I think because of like getting my Tostitos chips and getting the Tostito dip. Um, I normally just get that yellow tasting queso flavor because that's what I'm drawn to. And my mind thinks of nacho cheese, of course that being yellow. So it thinks of that kind of flavor with some kick to it. Um
mhm.
White queso they is something that they don't do around here. Even at a lot of Mexican restaurants and stuff, they 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 do not do it white queso here.
Oh
So
man, white queso is everywhere here. Um, I mean, to me, like yellow queso, it's not that I don't like it. Like,
mhm.
I'm gonna eat it, but like I just prefer white. White just seems like, I don't know. When I see white queso, it's like this feels like this feels like real Mexican queso, you know. But I mean, just because they serve it at all the Mexican restaurants around here and stuff, and it's like I know that all this is Americanized and it's not really, especially when it says
Yeah.
Tostitos on the label. But I don't know, man. I like the white queso. I like the white queso with the hint of lime chips, and
Ooh.
that's my go-to chips and cheese.
Any kind of white sauce in uh Mexican food, a lot of us just go with sour cream, um, and everything. So, and with cheese, if it's not like shredded or nacho or it's that yellow kind, anything outside of that we don't think of. The only sauce that's white that should be in our Mexican food, and this could be just a Midwest thing, is that it has to be sour cream. Take it or leave it. and
Mm-mm.
everything.
Gosh, you're just like a basic white girl. Sour cream. Ugh.
Well,
Ugh.
that's what I grew up with. Even when my mom was making taco salads, like of course we had the ground beef, the lettuce,
Explains a lot.
the chopped up tomatoes, the we did the sour cream, and of course we did the Doritos, like nacho chips and stuff. You can't have to me you can't have a taco salad without Doritos, nacho cheese, chips and stuff.
Mm,
But then she
mm,
also served that nacho chips, Doritos with sloppy joes. So
mm.
you can take it or leave it. That's why I
Sloppy
can't.
Joes.
Which I can't do fries with sloppy joes. I don't know who does that.
Dude,
It's
you know what the best thing on Sloppy Joes is? You know what I used to do? So like when we would go to like Arby's and stuff, we would like
hmm
we would take like a ton of horsey sauce and like the Arby sauce. I don't like the Arby sauce, but I love horsey sauce.
hmm
So when my mom would make sloppy joes, I would put shredded cheese on it and horsey
Ooh,
sauce.
oh
It was so good,
nice.
man. It was so good.
I'm,
You
okay.
toast the bun so that it doesn't get soggy. Oh,
Oh yes, toasted toasted buns for sloppy joes. Like you gotta have that a nice crisp toast to it. Now if it's a Thursday and you just trying to get dinner for everybody, regular buns would do. But
mm.
a nice good like crisp sloppy joe for the
Mm.
bun, yeah. But I just like, do you add butter to it? That's the question. Or you just toast them, like lightly toast.
Just toast it. I don't know. I mean, buns are small enough to fit in a toaster.
Mhm.
So
And then, well, did you do the sesame bun or just like plain bun, like a
no,
buttery, shiny looking bun?
no, get those sesame seeds out of here, dude. Gross.
So just a regular like kind of looking bun.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Or like we call them Whopper buns because Burger King is the only kind of fast food bun that I know of that has sesame seeds in 'em. Like everybody else does it and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Well, anyways, we have a couple more here.
Okay.
Our old friend Matthew Keel has two. He
Uh,
asks yellow mustard or honey mustard.
honey mustard.
I'm a yellow mustard guy. I
Uh,
can't
I
stand honey mustard.
I love honey mustard and I can't do yellow. I can do yellow with ketchup on it. Hot dogs,
Ketchup's the worst.
hot dogs, even Chicago dogs, I could do mustard because of the tomato. So I try to eat it the right way. Well, I still don't eat Chicago hot dogs the right way because I throw away the hot peppers. I can't eat hot peppers. Like anything spicy like that, I can't eat.
Mm,
The juice on it is a little bit is fine. I'm fine with that and everything, but I normally tell them to keep that off the side or don't even add it on and stuff, and everything. But I got introduced to honey mustard while in high school. We had just went to University of Wisconsin. uh, I wanted to check them out and see their music program and everything. And our music teacher, he took our acapella choir out. And when we left and everything, he took us to get something to eat. And I got like a chicken sandwich and stuff. And he was just like, you want honey mustard on that?" I'm like, "Honey mustard? What the world is that? They make that?" It's just like, "You never heard of it?" I'm like, "No." And so I got hooked on honey mustard that way. Um, and I was just like, "Ooh, this is good." So, honey mustard all the way for me. I would do mustard, but normally on hot dogs. If I had to do it on a hamburger, that's fine. But I prefer if I got mustard on my hamburger, I'm gonna ketchup on it too.
mm.
So,
Yeah, I'm a yellow mustard person, especially when it comes to like hamburgers and hot dogs and stuff.
mhm.
Uh, but I'm also a mayonnaise person. I'm like a huge fan of mayonnaise. So
I like mayonnaise too.
Oh man,
Uh,
mayonnaise on man. You put mayonnaise and mustard on a burger. Oh, oh,
yeah, that's good.
with some grilled onions. Oh man, so
I had
good.
some the secret sauce chili burger, burger from Chili's, and I had I added mayonnaise to it and everything, and it was really good. And they had sauteed onions on it.
Mm. Well, our next one
Oh, did
is
he have a
Twiz.
second question?
Yeah, I'm getting it right
Oh,
now. Twizzlers or Red Vines? I don't think I've ever had a Red Vine, and I'm not the
okay.
biggest fan of Twizzlers. So,
So, um, I think I talked about these. This is the red vines, made simple mixed berry twist. Um, it's not the waxy kind. It's like a little bit dried. Real easy to eat, really good. Mixed berry. They have grape red vines flavor too, which is also bomb big. Treated like that. But I'm a Twizzler person. Of course, the Twizzler pull and peel because of the cherry. Is for me. I've been a Twizzler kid for ages. I think since I was 5. Getting Twizzlers at the movie theaters. And then when it got to the 90s and they were selling the big bags for like $1 at Aldi's, um, I was getting them there too when I went grocery shopping with my dad and stuff. So I am a Twizzler person. I'm not really big into red vines, just like the regular flavor, because I feel like that's a waxy taste. Um, but these mixed berry ones, the simply red ones, are really good. But yeah, I'm Twizzlers for me all the way.
mm, mm.
Still don't like the black licorice flavor though.
Yeah. Well, you know. And our last one is from Safi. Sweet pickles or dill pickles?
Sweet pickles.
Mm, mm, mm. Okay. I
Sweet
don't like
pickles.
pickles, so
Sweet pickles because um I used to eat a lot of them in a lot of my burgers back in the 90s and everything. And if I did like a dill pickle and everything, um it usually be just something that would be like half of a pickle, like the way that they cut it, but it would be half. I know some of them look like a triangle kind of watermelon shape, but not. No, they used to give me like the half of the dill pickle, and I would just eat it by itself. But like pickles on burgers and stuff, was always the sweet ones for me.
hmm, okay.
Yeah, definitely a lot of burgers that I used to eat in Chicago would have them and
Hmm,
everything.
cool. Well, Ed, shall we get into some other things here?
Yes, it's time for Febby News. Yes, Corey, take it away.
Okay. Well, Ed,
Oh, what a week.
another another week, another round of layoffs. This time, tell me if you've heard this before, Ed. Tell me if we've talked about this on an episode before. Okay. Just let me know. Let everybody know. Telltale Games has laid off most of their staff, and yeah, let me see. Let me get the direct quote here because there's a interesting story on Nintendo Life and Eurogamer. But let's see the quote, the exact quote. Here's the quote. Um, this is from somebody who was working on The Wolf Among Us 2. Uh, this is a sore subject, but I feel it necessary to add to the gaming layoff news. Telltale laid off most of us early in early September. Uh, Status of The Wolf Among Us 2, I can't say. Now I focus on what. Okay, so this is somebody who was laid off, and then the quote from Telltale. Due to current market conditions, we regrettably had to let some of our Telltale team go recently. We did not take this action lightly, and our commitment to storytelling and finding new ways to do so remains the same. We are grateful for everyone. We are grateful to everyone for their dedication along this journey, and we are working to support everyone impacted. All projects currently in development are still in production, and we have no further updates at this time. Hmm. Tell me if you heard that. Oh, I don't know, about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
uh, yeah. So, man, this is. Did the Expanse sell well? That was the game that they sold that they just released right on Xbox. The Expanse.
It just came out of nowhere. I know IGN was marketing and pushing it, um, but I don't think so. I think a lot of people don't know about it. Like IGN marketed it for like about a week or two, and then I didn't even see reviews if there were any. So I think it got like a 7. Um, I didn't even know that they had a game coming out and everything.
Yeah, man, that really that's a big blow, man.
It's these layoffs has become the big fall news in a
Yeah,
sense,
yeah. This
and it
is man. Keep
because
going. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Telltale, Naughty Dog laid off some people. I think.
Yeah, they laid off. Allegedly laid off about 25 people and have put their multiplayer game on ice. But also, we talked a little bit about this on Boss Rush the other day, but Naughty Dog uh, supposedly is pressuring their staff to keep everything quiet. It wasn't internal staff; these were contractors, and they ended their
Mhm.
contracts early due to the project. So I think that's a little bit different, but all the same, right? It's eh, and in that case, like, everybody wants a piece of the game as a service pie, and like that, it's flooded. The bubble is bursting. Paul Tassi did a really great video the other day when the Epic Games layoffs happened, and I suggest you watch that video. And it's like a good explanation on why, like at this point, everybody's chosen
Mhm.
their game as a service, right? Like, you have Destiny, you have Fortnite, you have Apex Legends, you have Final Fantasy 14, World of Warcraft. Like, everybody has their MMO or their game as a service, right? That
Yeah,
you spend too much time in these games to really have a second one, right? I mean, you can, sometimes I play Fortnite, but I'm not playing it seriously like I do Destiny, right? Like, it's people have their game as a service, and if you are trying to enter that market right now, I mean, good luck.
you got to have something that really hooks it, that really feels
Mhm.
different,
Yeah,
and everything.
I wonder if that Naughty Dog project is like. I wonder if it's going to be on a smaller scale, which has been rumored ever since like Bungie told them that it basically sucked. Which I don't know if that's the right way to go either, but having someone you just bought come in and like control your game as a service
Hmm.
initiatives, but like, I think it should just be a multiplayer offering that, like, okay, if it has a story that you can play co-op, okay, whatever, but also like The Last of Us and Uncharted all included this type of multiplayer in it for free. I bet this is going to be a smaller scale thing, and it's going to come with The Last of Us 2 remastered, which is rumored to be coming out soon, or
Right.
even The Last of Us 3 if they don't think it's ready, right? I don't know, man. That's something else I would really like to talk about, is the Sony stuff, but I don't really feel like getting into it tonight because we have a lot to get through. But
It just feels weird that I, it feels weird that all of these layoffs are happening, whether it's contractor work or restructuring, and for their business.
yeah,
Um, it
here's
just
here's
feel
the
like.
thing though. Here's the thing. Um, these companies hired a lot of people when interest rates were low or nothing to borrow money. They
Mhm.
hired up when the pandemic started. They wanted, because they needed to get these games out, and they all got delayed anyway. So who knows if that counted? Uh, but these games get delayed, or they're bad or they fail, right? Like if Exoprimal wasn't on Game Pass, that probably would have been done already. You see what happened to Redfall. You see what happened to Rumble. What was it called? That wrestling game, that wrestling battle royale, Rumbleverse, right?
Yeah.
Um, what other game just got shut down? That just ended. There's another game that just ended. Uh,
Was it like
anyways, my
that dodgeball kind of game?
no,
Uh,
no, oh, the Knockout City last year,
yeah,
right? Like there's so many games as a service out there. Hyenas was the other one. They didn't even put it out. Got canceled.
yeah. That's the
That
one
was the
from
other one from
Sega.
Sega. Yeah. And I mean, certain, I almost said Certain Affinity. Um, Creative Assembly laid off a few people who were working on that game too, right? Um, I mean, if you don't put the game out, I guess you're losing money. But
Hmm.
my point is like, if these games don't hit, like, it's the one and done studio thing, right? Like you're gonna fail if because the budgets are too high. I mean, it's high risk, high reward. If it hits, you're bank. I mean, look at Fortnite, right? I mean, everybody wants the Fortnite money. Uh, but at the end of the day, you have to have something that's unique. You have to have something that's, I mean, even Overwatch. Look at Overwatch. It was on top of the world for years. It was on top of the world, and like now it's like, are
They
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 going
don't
to
even got
shut
the
down Overwatch
Overwatch
too?
League. Like I
Yeah,
just found out
yeah.
that they stopped the Overwatch League. I'm like, wait,
Mhm,
what?
mhm. It's because Overwatch 2 isn't doing well, and I mean, we're seeing a decline in Fortnite. This was this. What did Tim Sweeney say? He said that this was like the first quarter that player base was up in almost since season 2 or chapter 2, and we're on chapter 4, season
Wow.
5 or something, season 4. And because everybody likes the Ahsoka show and Ahsoka's in the battle pass and
Mm.
that kind of stuff. Uh, but I mean, even you look at Fortnite, it came out in 2016 in beta. That game's 7 years old. Even like people are getting tired of Fortnite too. And it's just this bubble's bursting. And I mean, we talk about it on Tower Casuals a lot. Like when the final shape comes out, Destiny's going to experience a huge drop off of Destiny because especially if you've been playing from the beginning, um, you get that like the final shape. We don't know what happens, and it seems like a good jump off point for people who are ready to be done with Destiny. I mean, people are playing because this is the moment we've been building up to for 10 years. I mean, it's like the Avengers and Endgame,
Mm.
right? Like this is our end game. And so once that ends, like what happens next? And so far, like you look at Marvel, that stuff hasn't really hit. Now I like some of it, not all of it, but I like some of it. But like there's
So
no
it
direction
it kind of brings into question, what is Nintendo doing right then with Mario Kart 8 and Splatoon
here.
3?
Yeah, I mean they kind of backed into the Mario Kart thing, right? Like it's not really a game as a service, right? But
Hmm.
uh, here's the thing with Nintendo. Their budgets, their games are amazing, right? I mean, we wouldn't be friends without Nintendo. We wouldn't be doing this podcast without Nintendo. Their
Yes.
games are amazing. Their budgets are low. Gameplay first. They appeal to everybody. Everybody loves Mario. The nostalgia factor helps for sure, right?
Yes.
But I mean, Breath of the Wild is an amazing single player experience. Mario is usually a pretty good, if not great, single player experience. And even the new Super Mario Brothers games were multiplayer. Appeals to everybody. Their budgets are low. They're efficient, right? I mean, a lot of their games, except for like the next 3D Mario and the next Zelda game, right, take less than 3 or 4 years to make.
Hmm.
You know, they put a lot of pride into their characters, and I mean, the biggest thing is that they're not chasing the game as a service, and their budgets are low, right? They don't have mocap studios, right? I mean, they might rent one out for like a running animation for a Link or something, but I mean, Link's had the same running animation since Ocarina of Time. Mario has had the same running animation since Mario 64, right? Like they're smartly reusing assets and animations and uh being creative with textures because and they use uh low powered machines, right? I mean, we love the Switch, but it's incredibly lower power than the Xbox
Yes.
and the PlayStation. Uh, and they are just really smart about that kind of stuff. And I think that's why Nintendo's games are doing
Profitable.
better than ever and profitable. And they don't put something out that they don't believe in. You know, they very rarely take risks, we'll say. I would say I would say in the last decade, switching the Zelda formula and Splatoon were probably the two biggest risks, right? And I
Hmm.
mean, look, it's Zelda, it's going to sell, and Splatoon was a hit, so they're going to keep going, right? I
And
think, and then they know how to like. I'll let you go after this, and they know how to like play with the pay scale, right? Like Mario Party, like they have $40 games, they have $50 games, they have $60 games, and they have $70
yes.
games, and most of the time the title reflects the cost, right? Like,
Hmm.
the Mario Party Superstar remake, like semi remake, semi remap of all the old maps that everybody loved, right?
Yeah.
$50. $50. Metroid Prime remaster, $40. Pikmin 1 and 2 remaster, $50 for both of them, right? Like they know how to scale their pricing. And I know a lot of people say that Nintendo games are always expensive. I don't think necessarily Nintendo games are always expensive. I think they hold their price because they hold, uh I think when people think Nintendo games are expensive, it's because like they buy them 10 years after the system is relevant and you have to spend $100 on Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door, or
Right.
$120 on uh Majora's Mask, right? Like if you bought them when they came out, like they were $50, right?
Right.
And or, especially like GameCube era, N64 era, even the Wii era, $50, And now like you're going to go back and complain that they're this much 10 years, 15 years after 20 years after this console came out.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's called the collector's market. They stop producing games when the next console comes out. It's not a big secret.
And then if you want
Dude,
that original copy or even that used copy, you're gonna up some money and everything.
dude, I hate how stupid some people are, man. Like it just really boggles my mind. And I'm not saying everybody that collects games or, you know, buys a game, third party or aftermarket or whatever after the console is dumb, right? I'm not saying that. Like maybe you played it at a friend's house and you're like, "Oh, I always wanted to play that, and so I'm going to get it for my collection." I understand that. But like the internet people that complain about pricing are so stupid. Also, if you can't afford it, don't buy it. It's what I always say, right? And
Hmm.
I don't know, man. But like, look, here's a recent example of this. Not Nintendo, of a studio that had to lay off 50% of their staff because their game didn't sell. Right? The Ascendant Studio, who made Immortals of Avium, which
Yeah.
I think that game looks awesome. But I was waiting for a sale because I don't want to pay $70. It's what people do with, you know, when they're not rich, right? They wait for a sale or they just don't buy it, right? I usually buy a lot of games on sale unless I really, really want it. You know,
Hmm.
nobody bought that game. That game sold less than 200,000 copies, and they had to lay off 50% of their staff, which I feel really bad because that game looks really awesome. I wish I would have bought it at $70. Not that $70 was going to save 50% of a studio, but you know what I mean. So,
Yeah.
and that's the one and done scenario. You take a risk, you create a new IP. That's the other thing Nintendo does well. They know how to manage their IP and they know when to put out
Well,
a new IP and when to stick with nostalgia, right? And
so and I think this because it's weird. Like as a new studio, do you start with a big triple A game, or do
no,
you
that's the
play it
thing.
safe, or do you play it safe on a Nintendo console? Like I, I think the thing with people making games for Nintendo is that there's still that stereotype or idea that they gotta make something kiddie or anything. I'm like, not really. You can make something very interesting using a nice art style, having it tell a story, not something that's gonna overblow your budget, but try to give you some recognition. Maybe but after your third game, like a people know who you are as a company and what kind of games that you can make, and you're ready to go for a big triple A. If you've been profitable from your first two games to hire more people and put stuff out, I think there is a chance that you could put out a big triple A game and be successful in everything. I'm not knocking Yacht Club or anything, but Yacht Club took a long time with making making Shovel Knight and trying to get that out of the box and everything. And we know, and like I always say, people from Yacht Club came from Way Forward. Way Forward has, as much as I love them, they have an up and down history with their games and everything. Um, and so Yacht Club, they don't have a lot of games out, but Shovel Knight was a hit. They didn't have, I mean, even though it was Kickstarter, it they was able to put that game out of everywhere, and everything. But they started off with Nintendo and it got some recognition and everything. And I think when we get to Switch 2 or Switch Deluxe, I feel like if these companies are going to try to stay afloat and everything, I kind of have a feeling like you guys might have to do a Majesco thing. You may have to rely on a Cooking Mama style game, not Cooking Mama style game, but a Cooking Mama formula, so that you can stay in business, so that you
I
can
just
continue to make the games and stuff and everything. Maybe a good looking game could have an indie feel, which is or feel like a double A game. Even if it's double A, I would be fine. I think because of more games are selling physically on Nintendo, definitely with Switch, I kind of feel like there is a chance that the same thing can happen.
yeah. So I want to say this: budgets are so high that new IP are so risky to do. Immortals of Avium failed. Outriders failed. If Exo Primal wasn't on Game Pass, it would fail, and I would argue that it failed anyway. Um, Hyenas failed before it even got to the light of day. Uh, Immortals Phoenix Rising from Ubisoft failed. And they canceled that sequel. And new IP are just risky because budgets are so high. And I think out of everybody, Microsoft is actually probably doing the best job of running the scale of budgets and games. Um, and I just said that I think Microsoft is doing the best job of, but in budget games. I mean,
Yeah,
Halo. They have something that's quadruple A, like Starfield and Halo and Forza, and and then you have like I would say double A experiences like Psychonauts. I would call like a double A experience. I would
Hi-Fi
actually
Rush.
Hi-Fi Rush. I would actually say you know except for graphically, I would actually say Hellblade is pretty double A
Oh
in
yeah,
terms of the experience. Uh, Not that that's bad. This is my point. Is like It's not that it's bad. It's just a smaller experience, and the
yeah.
budgets are lower. And then you have something that's super ridiculous, like Flight Simulator. Um, and obviously we're gonna get Clockwork Revolution, and South of Midnight is a perfect uh double A experience example. The next Gears will be a triple A experience, right? But they also have Gears Tactics, which is like a double A experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I actually think outside of Nintendo, they're doing the best job handling their IP, but also they're not taking risks on triple A new IP, right? I mean, Starfield, yeah, but that's Bethesda, and it started before Microsoft bought them, so I don't really count it.
Right.
Uh, but the other triple A experience, Redfall, clearly not doing well. 35 concurrents on Steam, not doing well. Uh, my Where was I going with this? Nintendo has the scale down, right? They have the 2D experiences. They have the double A's with like Kirby's and Yoshi's Crafted World, and the 2D Mario games. I would probably call double A at this point, although the new one looks awesome and there's a lot of money in that, so maybe it's a
Yes.
triple A. Uh, but then they'd also have the triple A's like Zelda and Metroid Prime 4 when it comes out, and they scale really well.
Yeah,
So
this may not reoccur, I should say, when Switch 2 comes out or Switch Deluxe or wherever their next
no, we're
console
sticking
is.
with Switch 2. People have already yelled at us for using Deluxe
Switch
because that
Deluxe.
implies Pro. Don't call it Switch Deluxe. There's like 10 YouTube comments yelling and saying, "Your thumbnail says Switch 2. One of your hosts says Switch 2 and the other one says Switch Deluxe. You guys need to clarify what you're talking about."
I said
So,
Switch Deluxe as a code name.
no,
Everybody else
Switch
says
2. Switch 2. Say Switch 2. Don't be different. It confuses people.
the same way that Wii U confuse folks.
Mhm. Exactly. You're confusing them. Yes.
That's a shame.
Mm. Switch 2.
Or the next console, because it
Switch
may
2.
not be a Switch.
Call it Switch 2.
I'm calling it the next
Call it Switch
console.
2. Everybody calls it Switch 2.
Well, they could call it that. I'm saying the next console. Wherever
That's fine.
Nintendo's next console is, wherever the
That's
name
fine.
may be, um, it's that same thing may not happen, But I'm like Square Enix is a perfect example of knowing to make triple A and smaller in A games. I won't even call like Octopath Traveler and stuff as double A because it's kind of a 2D HD thing. I would call it like a game and everything. Um
Yeah,
and there's a lot of
that line is so weird these days. I don't know,
yeah,
man.
and those smaller games had its ups and downs with it. Like their earlier RPG stuff was like a hit and miss. But then once like Octopath Traveler came out, once Bravely Default came out and stuff, you started to see that we could be successful off of our smaller games. And definitely if people are grabbing towards this on Nintendo's consoles, why not? Let's go for it. And the money that we receive for that, maybe it can finance a big triple A game like Final Fantasy Rebirth or Forspoken or Final Fantasy 16. Yeah, we got Field Chronicles and all of this other stuff, but maybe those games are helping us financing so we don't have to lose people. Yeah, the crew who made the developers who made Forspoken, they got closed down and moved. But that's the same thing that happened with Secret of Evermore. When
Well, that's a great
Square
example though,
Square
you
Enix
know?
made a Western developer to make that game. And I at that point in time we didn't know that we didn't know the sales of Secret of Evermore, but people knew of the game, but it didn't hit as well because of they was hoping that this game would be on the same level of Secret of Mana, because Secret of Mana was a success in a sense, which led it to Chrono Trigger. But Secret of Mana was supposed to be a Super Nintendo CD game and everything. And as us as kids in the 90s who had the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, we weren't even thinking about sale numbers for games. These companies knew the popularity because we were talking about them in magazines and writing to editors about them. But that's all we kind of knew. And then now sale numbers are you gotta read a percentage so that you can keep your staff nowadays. We To me personally, I know we're going to move on to the next story, but we don't know how long this is going to happen. How many companies are going to be restructuring their their business so that
I
they can
mean
still make money? It's going
I
to
mean
be weird.
the thing we haven't talked about yet in terms of like layoffs and restructuring and people being in trouble, right? Is BioWare laid off some people, I guess, early or a month or two ago, and now they're suing for wrongful termination. Like, you're gonna start seeing stuff like that come through, I think, at some point.
Oh, I
And
didn't
that's
know that.
yeah, and Bungie laid off some contractors, or not contractors, but some long-term things, and it's like, somebody had worked there for 8 years and somebody had worked there for 10 years, and it's crazy, man. There's
Yeah. So I'm like, we could have these big powerful systems even with PC, but I'm like, if this is going to continue to to happen, the video game industry is going to hurt badly. And it
yeah,
may come to and it may be it may actually cause a reverse, and the reverse is that more developers might start putting their stuff on Nintendo and less stuff on PlayStation and Xbox. As
I
crazy as that
I
may
doubt that.
as crazy as that may seem, if their games are selling more on the Nintendo console and making it profitable, and if I'm losing too much money putting it on the other systems, not that same game, but if I can't put out a triple A game and it be successful for gamers out there on those consoles, and I'm losing money, I might as well just be like, you know what? I may have to, if I'm going to be supporting Xbox and PlayStation, I'm going to have to make
That's
lesser looking games with the
that's
budget. I can't put out a triple A game on these consoles, because if I'm making more money off a Nintendo console with physical sales and whatever
they don't
digital
make
may
any money
be,
on physical sales. We've already kind of been over that. The physical thing is a prestige thing. They make less than 3% on physical sales.
with numbers, people think success of
Numbers
numbers
don't
with physical.
numbers
I'm
don't make
just
money.
I'm just saying physical numbers makes the appearance of a game look successful. The
Yeah, but
appearance
numbers
of it.
don't pay the bills. Physical numbers don't pay the bills. The dollar number pays the bills, is
Well,
my
yes,
point.
that yes, that pays the bills, but people think because if you have a higher physical number, a number that you could see, because that's why I
You
said
can't see
that's why.
can't you can't see money dollar dollar numbers?
That's the thing about it, because we don't know if people got something, if they got that game like on sale or something like that, world different parts worldwide. They combine worldwide and concepts like that. But I'm just saying that for like Nintendo and stuff, looking at a game with high numbers of physical sales, that's what some companies wish that they had. Trust me, if Immortal had the sale numbers of Tears of the Kingdom of 10 million in 3 days, we wouldn't be even having this discussion at all. You know, if a lot of companies had that number within 3 days for a new IP or for a game, we wouldn't be having this discussion. And if we were having it and they were selling that, then that turns into a discussion of corporate greed.
It's about making money.
That is true. So with Telltale, going back to them before we get to the next story,
Oh yeah, I
with
forgot that's what
Telltale,
we were actually talking about.
with Telltale, Telltale was surprising, uh, but it was confusing because this happened again, and this time they didn't put out a lot of games, um, and everything compared to previous when they was doing a lot of licensing and getting all of those story games and stuff out. Um, I just don't. I guess the expense. I guess because it didn't do well, this was coming and everything. If they
Yeah, but their
still
studio was
have,
so small anyway.
it was, yes, and it was a different name before it was the Telltale game. They
Well,
just,
they're owned by a different group now. I forget what it's called. I saw it somewhere.
yeah,
The LCG Entertainment Group retained many of the studio's assets and IP.
And then I think they
Yeah.
changed the name to like Telltale. Um,
Well,
so
Telltale is a subsidiary of the LCG Entertainment Group,
because I thought
is
Telltale
according to
did
this article.
close. I thought they
They
did
did.
close,
They
and then they
did.
just took the name.
It's a THQ situation where,
Yeah,
the
that.
old THQ shut down and somebody bought, Embracer Group bought the name and then brought it back, and
Yeah,
obviously
like that.
still doing the same thing that the old THQ did. So,
but,
sorry, I didn't mean to
eh,
make light of people's jobs, but that's happening. So
but,
sorry.
but yeah, but I mean that's my opinion on it.
Yeah.
With I wish them
It's
the best.
yeah.
Uh, it
It's
just
it's
sucks.
it's bad out there, man. Like video games are so risky, and I know everybody's calling to unionize and everything, and like, not that I don't want to support unions because they are great in certain situations, but
Hmm.
y- higher ups need to be better about budgeting and planning, and you know the producers have to be better at keeping people on schedule. And I understand that things happen and things get delayed and stuff, but I think you need to account for some of that too, right? Now if something massive happens, like what happened to the Stalker developers, like a war happens and you have to move your whole studio twice and then your new studio catches on fire. Okay, you
Yeah.
can't plan for that, right? But
Yes.
like a normal game, like a normal regular situation, and a game gets delayed and delayed again and delayed again, maybe you just need to add more time to your production schedule, or Ed, hear me out, have a smaller budget and a smaller game, and maybe not every game you make has to look like Horizon or God of War or Uncharted.
Hmm.
Just throwing it throwing it out there, right? Like remember when Halo Infinite was coming out, right? And like, I mean, look at Alan Wake Remastered, right? I mean, we kind of pooped all over the game the last
We gave
2
our
weeks,
opinions.
but like it's not that that game looks bad. I mean, you can make
Right.
a double A experience. I mean, look, okay, Darksiders, for example. I think the art style in Darksiders is amazing. And
Yeah.
I think all those games look amazing, and they're not anywhere near the best looking games, but I think the art style they chose, and I love Darksiders. I hope we get a new one soon. Probably not because Embracer owns it, but they'll probably close or something first. Uh, but anyways, let's get out of this story. We're just
Oh, that's
talking in
Gunfire
circles now.
Games too, because they did
Let's see.
Remnant 2. That's this right, which I need to
Yeah,
get.
which everybody loves. It's on sale right now on Xbox. I thought about it, but I didn't. Anyways, uh I know a lot of people at Boss Rush are excited for this. Lego and Nintendo announced Animal Crossing Legos are coming. Uh they showed a commercial with all the characters in Lego form, and then it just said Lego Animal Crossing.
Can I tell
Are you
you the funny thing about this? People who are not even gamers was just like, dang nabbit Lego, you got my money again.
Yeah. I personally don't care about these, but are you excited for these? I mean, have you gotten any of the Lego sets?
Oh no, I wouldn't even have time to build a Lego set.
Okay. I was just curious. Uh
I mean, I can say that me and Stephanie do agree that this should have been Legend of Zelda. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Those will come eventually, I think, right? I mean,
They have to.
right? Right?
Stephanie just like, I want Link, dang it. I was
Yeah.
like, right.
Yeah. I wonder. Uh, so yeah, Animal Crossing Legos are coming. Get them. Uh, also, we have two Nintendo services shutting down. Ed, I'm just going to combine these stories because I think it makes the most sense. We have the so I. It looks like I didn't really get a clear thing about this, but the Pokemon Company is, quote, highly encouraging Pokemon Bank users to transfer their Pokemon to Pokemon Home very soon. That's the quote. So it sounds
Yeah,
like Pokemon Bank is shutting down.
yeah,
Because I mean, I guess that would be coincide with like the 3DS online service, right?
yeah.
Uh,
I think so.
and speaking of those online services, the Wii U and 3DS online services are going offline in early April of 2024. So grab your own content before you can't get it anymore. I would suggest getting the or downloading the Fire Emblem DLC for Fire Emblem Fates because that's the only way you can get Revelations unless you want to pay, $400 for the collector's edition.
So why after this announcement, Xenoblade X was trending the moment that thing got announced?
Because
I was
it's trending because there's actually a patch in the Wii U store that makes the game better. Like it runs better, it
mm,
has like new textures, uh and it just makes the game look and feel a lot better. It's pretty much a giant patch. It would be considered a patch today, but you can download them from there
yeah. Then
onto
feels
your
like
console.
some of the online missions you wouldn't be able to do without it.
Yeah. Well, to be honest with you, Ed, I played a lot of Assassin's Creed Black Flag on the Wii U, and I couldn't do the online missions even when the online was working. So, you know,
Well, everybody was just
I think to be fair though, Ubisoft didn't put the online stuff in that game. So, like, technically, I 100% of the game, but my save file is technically at 94.1 because I didn't get to do the online stuff.
and stuff. Well,
94.1. Gross.
everybody was people were just like, I think it's time for y'all to support Xenoblade X to Switch. But I'm like, just wait to the next console, release it as like a HD version. Like
That would be a great kind of lineup filler game,
that's
like
what I was
a
about to.
port.
Yeah, because I think it would give them more time for them to fix a lot of stuff. Definitely trying to find places where that mission was at, because some of the missions was hard to find, and then some of the battles was like just confusing. Beautiful game, and I think I love you, Monolith Soft. But if this next
That sound
console,
like he doesn't love you, Monolith Soft. Sounds like he's
if
gonna
this
tell
next
you he doesn't.
console is powerful, you guys have got to go in with Xenoblade Chronicle X and just add a lot of stuff. If you could get the frame rate even to a 60 frames or 50 frames, I don't care. Just fix parts of that
Wow,
game.
wow.
I mean, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is a perfect blueprint to take and put it in for Xenoblade Chronicles X. And add some better music and stuff. Because you can't be in a town doing uh like you giving that hip
Not
hop kind of feel and stuff and
not with that
everything.
attitude.
Uh but I would just say I think it would be a nice in the launch lineup of games, but like a filler game, like you said before, like a big triple A Nintendo game or first party game, I should say, comes out for Nintendo. And I'm like, you guys got power. You guys will have power, hopefully, so you can make this game. Look, of course, Xenoblade Chronicles X looking like Horizon Forbidden West, or even just Horizon Zero Dawn.
I
I
mean, I don't think you're gonna go that far. I do
but
think,
I'm
however,
detail.
that
I would say more of detail. Uh,
I mean, I think that they would do that because the next Xenoblade game might be a sequel to that,
yeah,
in my opinion.
Xenoblade
So
X2. Was Xenoblade X and then some kind of long name? The
Electric
world of.
Boogaloo.
Oh my goodness, they did that. I think I would fall out laughing.
Uh, Man, mechs are cool.
Yeah, before the 3DS and Wii U stuff closing, that's sad. But yeah, get your stuff.
Yeah. Get it and get out.
Exactly.
So, all right, Ed, what do we that's
Uh,
it.
w-
That's all the
we
news.
got we got one more news story, and
No, we
I
don't.
don't know. I don't. Well, this is the thing about it.
Oh no. Don't like this.
So so in our Boss Rush chat, um, Wario 64 posted Star Wars Heritage Pack for Switch up for pre-order
Yes.
at $59.99 on I guess at
Oh, I know
VGP.
where you're going with this, and I'm going to punch you for saying what you said in that chat.
Okay,
Keep
7 games
going.
included: Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy, Jedi 2, Jedi Outcast, Episode 1 Racer, Republic Commando, The Force Unleashed, KOTOR, and KOTOR 2 both requires download. Okay. So that's all gonna
Great.
be on Fisco. For
Not if you have to
$60.
download it. It's code in the box. Code in the box.
Yes.
Anyways.
So why are you going to punch me for what I said?
Because I saw what you said. You said, why couldn't they finish the DLC, but they can put this on a cartridge? Because game development is a lot harder than putting games from the PS1 and PS2 era on a cartridge and selling it. That's why. Do you not understand how game development works?
I'm just saying that y'all
Oh
canceled.
man, I can't do that. You're fired.
I, I'm just
Can't do
saying
this.
y'all
You
had
sound like an
time
internet
to.
fanboy.
What? I just said that y'all had time to make the DLC, but y'all canceled it to make this cartridge. So if you still,
Also, the publishing division in the game, people that decide which games get published on physical and not, is not the same as the development team.
well,
They
all
probably
of
have a
them are.
publishing they probably have some sort of publishing partner, or Embracer took care of it, or Saber took care of it, or whoever owns whatever vertical of Embracer that Aspire is under, like Deep Silver
Mhm.
or, you know, PlayOn or whatever, probably decided to publish this. It's
Well,
it's
well, all of the. I think all
oh,
of
I
the
hate this
games are.
conversation.
I think all of the games are already available separately. Correct.
You can already buy the Heritage Collection digitally. It's been out for like a year and a half. It came out when Force Unleashed came out for Switch.
But Kotar and Kotar 2 wasn't on there yet, was it?
Yeah, it came after, or KOTOR and KOTOR 2 came before that game.
Okay, so
So,
they already had the games separate, and then
hmm
they put them as a package. Okay,
yeah, yeah, and then the package came out as soon as the Force Unleashed. Did I say the Force Awakens? The Force Unleashed came out.
yeah,
So,
okay.
so
I mean, that was
that's
just
fine.
my opinion. My grievance is just that I was able to put this out because I don't remember it being a digital one. I think it's because all of the single games were being released. I didn't know that they did a digital collection for.
hmm Yeah. And then they didn't do the thing where, like, if you owned one already, that they gave you a discount or whatever, though. So that was kind of, I don't know, didn't really care for that. But oh well, whatever, it's fine.
Yeah. So I mean, that was just my ramble, but yeah, that is happening. They don't have a date for it yet. Um, but yeah, that was just uh, I mean, David Lasby is on my side for this. But yeah, that was just like I don't even think that got reported in the news. I think just Mario 64 presented it. So I don't know if they just dropped it out of nowhere or anything.
I mean, I don't know. They don't usually announce things like this, but I don't know. It's usually
But I
someone
would
like Super Rare or Limited Run that announce these things in horrible fashion. So, but you already know my feelings on Limited Run, so no need to repeat
yeah.
them here. That
Yeah.
company's so terrible.
I just okay, so Nintendo Life does have it, but I think they probably got it from Wario 64. Persona Collection now available on Switch eShop. Contains PS5R, P4G, and P3P. So nice.
Yeah. I didn't mean to threaten violence on you, but I do want to punch you for saying that.
When do you not want to punch me?
Mm, a lot less than I used to.
Can you just give me a hug or a pat on the head or something?
No, it's going to be a swift kick to the face.
Why? Why'd you go Arthur beast me?
Dude, my whole body hurts. I don't even know if I could lift my leg that high. I'm not going to lie to you.
You do. Speaking of that, shoot, like my knee and my left leg just been like hurting for a little bit. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Do I need to
Dude,
stretch?
the other day I was washing the dishes and I turned to put the dish in the dish rack and my knee cracked and I had
Ooh,
incredible knee pain for like a couple hours. And I was like, all I did was put a dish in the dish rack to dry. I didn't even like I didn't do anything remotely athletic, right? Like
uh-huh.
man, my body's falling apart, man. I guess that I saw this Instagram reel the other day, which was pretty funny. Uh somebody was like, "Yeah, when you're like 35 or 36, that's your body telling you it's time to go. The average life expectancy for humans 3,000 years ago was 35 or 36. That's just the natural body function to say it's your time. It's your time."
Shoot,
I'm like, "Yeah,
Not, not my time.
sometimes
Like,
sometimes I feel that way."
if she got you
Sometimes I'm
better
like,
put some more.
"Oh, never
Just
mind."
continue to put strength in this body and just touch this knee. Amen.
I was about to say sometimes I'm ready.
Oh, please don't
Uh,
say that.
mm,
I would
it's
have to call, dude. I would have to call off of work and just already find. I'm like, look, I'm gassing my car up. I need to find his address, and I'm on the road. I will see y'all within a week.
no, it's time. It's time. It's time to go. Uh, I'm
But
ready. Let's go. The pearly gates. You'll kick me out.
wow. But Corey, I think let's jump into some pack watch.
Okay, it's time for Pack Watch. Uh, so on 1010, we're getting Wild Card Football. Wild Card Football is a fun pick up and play arcade style football game featuring 7v7 team focused gameplay and the unique wild card system that lets you change the course of the action in an instant with special power ups and rule breaking abilities. On 1017, Skull Island Rise of Kong. Based on the rich history of Skull Island, developed by creator Joe DeVito and based on Marion C. Cooper's King Kong, the exhilarating third person action adventure game lets you become Kong on a journey of vengeance as you fight to claim your rightful place as Kong or as King of Skull Island. The last game here on 1017, Sonic Superstars. I'm really excited for Sonic Superstars.
Same.
Uh, Adventure through the mystical North Star Islands in this all new take on classic 2D Sonic high speed action platforming. Play as Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy, and harness all new Emerald powers to move and attack in dynamic new ways. Also, this game is multiplayer, just to let everybody know. So, if in case you were not clear on any of that, so yeah, I think Sonic Superstars looks awesome. I'm really ready for it. I think I might get it for Xbox though. I don't know. We'll see.
Um,
Maybe I'll be dumb and double dip on this at some point.
I know I'm gonna buy for Switch. No, not no worry about reviews for it. I'll probably double dip on Xbox once it goes on sale. I probably like later down on the line. But I will be getting it for Switch definitely.
Yeah. So Pack Watch is that, and now Ed, I'm going to throw it back to you.
All right, everybody, it's time for question block, and we have
Woo.
two questions for here, and we have MH Norris via Discord.
We
He
have
asks,
3 questions, Ed.
you didn't put the
MH Norris wrote in 2,
oh,
and
okay,
that's Mary Helen. Ed, it's not he. It's
it's she.
Duh.
Uh, mm,
Man, I'm just busting your balls all over the place tonight.
I
Sorry,
can't
I'm
do
not meaning
anything
to.
right.
I don't mean to. It's just fun sometimes.
Mm. The question was asked recently. Kirby and the Amazing Mirror came to Nintendo Switch Online. What other classic game would you like to see come to the current gen console? Definitely Chrono Trigger. I would love to see. Um, we don't need the Mega Man games because they're all you go just buy those and stuff. Um, Hyperstone. Well, no, Hyperstone Heist is on the Turtles collection.
I
Um,
know all the games that I would like really wanted are in collections now.
yeah. Uh, Rocket Knight Adventure. I would want.
Yeah, Rocket Knight Adventure,
Oh,
Sega Genesis,
so
so good.
good. I love that
Yeah,
game. Um,
I don't even know what's on all these things anymore.
we
I'm
got
trying to
Beyond.
think.
We got Beyond Oasis. That's for the Sega Genesis.
Hmm.
Um,
I
we
mean,
got Comic
are,
Zone.
are the Fantasy Stars on there?
Fancy Star's not on there. I think
I mean,
one of
that would
them,
be
maybe.
one that would be so cool.
I think four is on there. Oh no, I think three is on there. One, I think one of them is on there. Uh, I don't think all the Streets of Rage games are on there. I know two is on there, but one and three isn't on there. Um, of course, my beloved Arrow Flash.
Jeez.
The games for renovation, they're not on. They're not on there. For Super Nintendo, um, hmm, well, Zombies Ate My
Um,
Neighbors is on the collection.
yeah,
Uh,
Zombies Ate My Neighbors, man. It's great. What was
uh
the other one? Grab by the Ghoulies? Was it? No,
gra- yeah,
Ghoul,
Grab the Goodies. No, that was Xbox.
Ghoul put Ghoul
Ghoul Patrol.
something. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that
Grab
was
by the
the
Ghoulies. That's the zombie game. That's like the Xbox zombie game.
from Rare. I think that was Rare's game.
No, it wasn't. Was it Rare?
Yeah, it was Rare. I
I know
believe
the
it should
big
be.
thing. I know the big thing about that game was like that was the only other game ever to use the Halo engine other than the Halo games.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Let's see. Um, we can't get NCAA for basketball from
My thing
Nintendo.
my thing would be like I want more retro consoles on here. Like it would be cool to get Master System and Saturn on here. It would be cool to get TurboGrafx.
Yeah.
Uh you know what else would be cool, Ed? And I think you would absolutely agree, but it would require a lot of third party help and I don't think it's ever going to happen, but like just like an arcade portal of like classic arcade games would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the arcade version of Pac-Man and Donkey Kong and you know, Street Fighter games, although I know they're all in like collections and stuff. Mortal Kombat would be cool. The Simpsons game, like all these
Ooh.
classic like beat 'em up. The X-Men, the six-player X-Men game. Oh
Uh, Anything
man,
that's not with the arcade archive.
yeah, I don't even know what all's in that. I forgot that that existed too. To be fair,
Uh, There, the arcade archive on the eShop have some well-known arcade games like retro games and stuff. But they also have some games that's never been in America and stuff. Um, but yeah, I would love an arcade portal for like Nintendo. Like, I would love to play the arcade version of Punch Out and Mario Versus. That was at Pizza Hut when you had
mm,
the little timer thing. Oh goodness,
yeah,
a game that Pizza Hut was as a kid was the thing. Was
our
my
Pizza
man.
Hut did not have an arcade.
Ours had like the Nintendo Select thing, a pinball, and I think like a driving game and stuff. So while we was waiting for our pizza, our supreme pizza and stuff, we would
Oh,
go
pizza,
and
pizza
put
sounds
like
good.
25 cents. Like I said, dude, I was thinking of getting some tonight. But,
Should have. Um, we're
um,
going to my parents tomorrow, by the way, for my dad's birthday, and it's gonna be a big breakfast. I'm very excited.
yes. Um, The second question, because of course we want Dreamcast, everybody, that's a given. The second question, oftentimes the game of the year contenders are for games that are not on Nintendo consoles. Do you think the Switch 2 will upgrade enough to allow Nintendo to attempt to compete at that level outside of Zelda franchise games?
I mean, Mario Odyssey was up for Game of the Year, right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, man, I don't see. I don't know because I don't know if Nintendo really. I mean, they care, but I don't think they really care as much as everybody else. Because I mean, it's prestigious, but Nintendo's already prestigious. This, especially this generation, right? And their games are amazing. So I'm trying to think. Like,
So, uh, why
I
do you
just feel
think,
like
Corey?
they feel like. I mean, I don't think any Kirby game or Yoshi game are ever going to win Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Uh, I think Nintendo makes very specific games for specific categories, and when they go for Game of the Year, they're really going to go for it, right? Obviously, with Odyssey and Zelda, they had it in the same year. Tears of the
Mm-hmm.
Kingdom will clearly be that this year, I think. Although they do have way more competition than they did that year. Uh, I think a lot of people are really enjoying Baldur's Gate and um,
Yeah, they are.
Diablo, and what else? What was the Final Fantasy 16? Although that game was pretty divisive, I think people either loved it or hate it. There's not really any middle ground there. But you go ahead, Ed. I don't really know how to answer this question.
So, to answer this, I don't think Switch 2, even if they had a upgrade enough, they a lot of their stuff won't be considered for Game of the Year as a contender. Even with good sales, even with a lot of talk of the town, Nintendo just doesn't think that way. But it's good for them to have that acknowledgement, but you you got not Hellblade. What was the wrong one? Greek game.
Hades.
Uh, Hades. You had Hades, who took Game of the Year, and that was a early access game on Epic, and it kind of got Game of the Year because it came to Switch. So it really depends on a personal thing in a sense. Um, that it could a Game of the Year could come to any console. Um, and Nintendo, as much as people would love to have a lot of their stuff um be considered as game of the year, it doesn't matter sometimes the upgrade or the platform and stuff, because if we go back to 2019, Nintendo would have run that Nintendo would have won Nintendo would have won 2019 alone just by Fire Emblem Three Houses. It's still to this day,
Yeah.
even with you can a lot of people don't get that just because from the game show, the game awards and stuff, a particular game may get game of the year, but if you seen on your personal social media that Fire Emblem Three Houses is getting once again getting played, or Hades, or some other game outside of the game of the year, to them, people gonna be to them will surprise you. Be like, well, I thought this game that got game of the year was supposed to be the one that everybody's talking about. No, it's not always like that and
Yeah.
everything. So I don't think Switch 2 with whatever upgrade that they have would actually have games for game of the year just for Nintendo themselves. As long as Nintendo is putting out great and quality games, um that's going to matter most to their game of the year. It
Yeah.
really is, because I'm like, what's going to happen? What if they put Paper Mario Thousand Year Door out next year and that wins game of the year before Switch 2 was announced? Then what? I mean, that's a game that came out on GameCube in the past and stuff. So I just don't think their next console will have the game of the year contenders. And plus, if we're going, like I said, if we're going by the Game Awards kind of look at stuff, Nintendo's not normally represented at that show. I said unless it's a family game, um, and everything. Uh, they're looking more for big and beefier games and stuff. You
Yeah,
know, it
I would
takes
say.
two. Uh,
Sorry, just to piggyback off that real quick.
mhm. Go ahead.
Before you move on, like I understand smaller games is a win game of the year, and but I don't think Nintendo's smaller games aim for that. I think you would have to look at the franchises that they hold as their prestigious titles, right? Like and I think it's like a tiered thing, right? So
Hmm.
definitely, I think the definite quote unquote prestigious titles are Mario and Zelda. Clearly, I kind of want to throw Xenoblade in that category just because it seems like after how well 2 was received, maybe not critically but by fans, I think that really set a new bar for 3 and by all accounts 3 was really great. So I
Yeah.
think and I think it was it in the game of the year category at for the game
No.
awards that year?
Mm-mm.
Uh but I think that that would be one that they look at and be like, "Okay, people like this series. I think the next one we're gonna make that push, right? We're gonna give it a bigger budget. Obviously, the console is gonna be more powerful, so we can do more in the world and have a more dense world and stuff like that. I think they're going to push that into the A tier. I'm gonna say. I think the B tier, which maybe people don't hold as in high regard, but has a chance if Nintendo like takes it seriously. I would put Donkey Kong in there
Hmm.
if they made like a really great new Donkey Kong game. Um, I would put Metroid in there, and I would put Fire Emblem in there.
I would
Would be
actually
their
put
B
Fire
tier.
Emblem. I would actually put Fire Emblem in the Prestige. I think
See,
because of I think because of
I
Fire
wouldn't just
Emblem
because it.
Awakening.
Mm, yeah, but I would. Here's the thing. I don't think it's really hard for a strategy RPG to be put in that quote unquote prestigious category. See, I actually thought about putting Fire Emblem in the A tier also, but I think Fire Emblem it seems Fire Emblem is very hit or miss. Awakening for me was great. Fates was
Hmm.
good, but not as good as Awakening. Three Houses was great. I love Three Houses to the point
Yeah,
where I even played most of Three Hopes because I love
and,
those
and
characters so much.
and
But
and that's why.
Engage wasn't good in my opinion.
Yeah,
So
and I, I mean because a lot of games, like even with Zelda, has its ups and downs, you know, but it's still prestige. I think because of awaken a lot of gamers to the Fire Emblem series, and with the changes and stuff, I think it's become such a, I won't say hit and a miss, but it's been successful with a lot of their recent games. And I won't count Three Hopes because that is something separate. That's like a side game in a sense. Um, I kind of feel like Fire Emblem has that um good name recognition because of Awakening and stuff. Yes, I know Engage didn't hit um like it like it was supposed to and everything, but I think because Three Houses raised the bar so much that now it literally feels like intelligence system. You you guys, we know that you brought the Fire Emblem series in it, but if Koei Tecmo could bring this kind of fire, uh maybe you want to give it to them, but work with them so it doesn't get oversaturated. Same thing with Metroid in a sense that yeah, it's Metroid is a B tier kind of thing. Um and it kind of had its hits and misses too. But it's like, Metroid Prime is in great hands when it's from Retro. The Metroid series now is in great hands because of Mercury Steam, you know. And until we get something consistent with them, I would be fine with that being the B tier. Even with Donkey Kong, Donkey Kong has some hits, and
Yeah.
everything. Not going to even not Tropical Freeze is amazing.
I mean, the
Donkey
first
Kong
one
Country
was great.
Return.
The f
What Donkey Kong Country Returns is that the
Yeah.
first one?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, I played that on
You know,
3DS, by the way. The game was awesome.
yeah. So I do agree with you. I think Fire Emblem maybe just for me because feel like it's been a success in its own way. Belongs in A tier and everything.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I think it just depends on what they feel is prestigious and what they feel like,
Hmm.
you know, as as much as everybody loves Animal Crossing, it's never gonna win Game of the Year.
Oh no. Mm-mm.
Sorry. But
If Stardew Valley is not winning Game of the Year or getting nominations and stuff, like Animal Crossing would get it. And Animal Crossing sold a bajillion, now a bajillion copies. Sold a lot of copies to Switch. And yeah, you could say the
almost 40 million.
pandemic. But I'm just like, shoot, Mario Kart 8 should have got Game of the Year and stuff.
Yeah, that was, I mean yeah, I
Like,
mean, I don't know if they could do that because it was a re-release. That's the thing too, is Switch has a ton of re-releases that probably
mm-hmm.
wouldn't even, you know, qualify.
Smash Brothers should have got Game of the Year because of the reviews and the sales and you know all the characters that they added and deals. Like a lot of stuff for Smash Brothers Ultimate should have got it Game of the Year, but sometimes it's just sometimes it's just not that. Sometimes it's because of the publisher and developer. Like Red Dead Redemption 2, I,
Yeah.
it won because it really came from Rockstar.
Yeah.
Like there really wasn't no I'm gonna say competition. Really nobody was talking about that game after it came out of its release. But because it's a Rockstar game and they won stuff here and there. Um was they going
Yeah.
against no, they weren't going against Uncharted 4. Were they? Goodness, I have
Which
to
game?
go look
Red
Red
Dead?
Dead Redemption 2.
No, it was God of War, the first one.
Oh, God of
Or
War
the
won it. Okay.
well, I get not really the first, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the fourth game. Or the
Yes.
yeah.
You're right.
Um, why did I think it was Red? Oh, because Red Dead was some other stuff, and that was a big name. Um,
Yeah.
but sometimes it's just uh, definitely that's why I said the Game Awards itself. I mean, Nintendo is just not seen in that way, in a
Mhm.
sense. Even though people do buy their games and continue to play them even years after its release, a lot of the Game Awards stuff. Um, a lot of people who watch the Game Awards really watch it for the announcements. But if that's the standard for the game of the year and everything, because of the Game Awards, a lot of people don't go back to those kind of games. They recognize it. They say, "Yeah, I enjoy it," but even by the time it gets through that nomination, people might not be playing it. Breath of the Wild is an exception because people kept talking about that game and showing stuff and doing different things after it came out and it won the game of the year award. That's a big exception and everything. But like 2019, Nintendo had hits of games, and a lot of them did not get nominated at all. They got
Yeah.
certain categories and still did not win. So
Yeah. Well, you know.
but that was a great question. I like that one. Uh,
Yeah. There's a follow-up question too.
Uh, and we have one from the one true James via Discord. He asks, expansion to the above question. Or would you expect the situation to remain identical since Nintendo doesn't court coverage and marketing the way other Game Award contenders do? Okay, so
What's your problem
when
now, Ed?
it was the year that they revealed Ultimate Alliance 3 for Switch. Um uh they revealed Joker for Smash. Was there another game that they did for Switch? But I think those are the two big highlights. Um,
Hmm.
when Nintendo had that coverage and everything, at the Game Awards, uh, they still didn't get as they still didn't get that many rewards, And don't forget the Game Awards supposedly is up to viewers who have a chance to win and people in the industry at like journalists and stuff like that. I just think that even if they gave them marketing and stuff, they it still wouldn't win a game of the year award from the game awards and stuff. And we're using that as the basis. It really
Hmm.
is that. What is IGM saying? What is Game Informer saying? What is Game Rent saying? Nintendo Life. What are these other podcasts saying and stuff? It really is. What is the common game everybody's talking about? Whether they finish it or completed what they got out of it. I think that is the stuff that matters for Game of the Year. When you have like me and Corey, we do Nintendo Pow Block. So of course, when it comes to Game of the Year for us, it's going to be Nintendo related, but that's due to the podcast. If we go outside the box of Nintendo, um, we may each have different games. For particular systems, but we may not have, we may have to discuss what is that one game for that year that we both played, we maybe enjoyed, or that may seem that even though we didn't finish it, we still got a lot of it. What could be that particular game of the year and stuff for us personally, or for whatever reason and stuff. Corey might still say Destiny. I I might say Pikmin 4 or anything, or I might say Hi-Fi Rush. We really can't give it to Sony because I haven't played any of their PS5 games, and uh,
What
Corey
PS5
has this.
games?
Corey has Corey has his opinion about certain games for PS5. We'll leave it at that. um,
Which games,
but
Ed?
we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, talk smart.
But
I already gave too many hot takes this episode, and so did you. So maybe we should.
but there may be a game that me and Corey have talked about that we definitely enjoyed. Um, you know, Maybe it would be like, man, Roller Coaster Tycoon remaster came out for this console or this PC
Oh, don't tease
and
me
stuff.
like that, Ed.
And me and Corey might talk about that, even though it's a remaster, because we talked about it and we still get enjoyment and have memories and stuff. That may, this just for example, that may become like our game of the year and stuff. But it really, the marketing part doesn't really play a part to me personally for a game of the year contender or winning game of the year. It really is up to what everybody is kind of talking about or leaning to. And even if a game that you hope should be game of the year doesn't win, it's great that your whatever you make it a game of the year, your personal thing, it's going to be exciting to see what it is. And maybe it's going to be something that's going to intrigue us or other people to play and stuff. So I don't think marketing plays a part in for a game of the year, because you can have all the ass and still not get nominated or
Yeah,
win.
yeah.
You know, like it, like the year that Death Store came out. I think if me and Corey would have played it and it wasn't on Switch or Nintendo, we would have been like, I don't know if you feel this way, Corey, so I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I would have been like, yeah, Death Store is kind of game of the year for me because it's so good. But heck,
Death Store is
Titanfall,
awesome.
heck, I, as many people who know me, that I would crown a game of the year that belongs for a game that's on the Nintendo console, or as a Nintendo game. Titanfall 2 deserves game of the year. That's one of the best first person shooters.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I don't. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know the last time. I don't know when the last good campaign was for a like amazing like Titanfall 2 was, right?
mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, Halo was great. I loved Halo, but I
Yeah.
mean, Titanfall 2 is obviously better, in my opinion.
And Wolfenstein 2 is a great one. The reboot one. That was a great campaign. But Titanfall 2, it just did so many things. It was a tight campaign. You know, every level mattered and stuff. And the dialogue and the writing and stuff. Like, but for me, like when I was doing optional opinion, heck, there was a year that I had to give it to just um just beats and goodness, why can I not think of it?
Shapes and
Just
Beats.
shapes and beats. But then I tied it along with Forza Motorsport 4 because once again, both of those games, outside of the phenomenal music those games have, I enjoyed those games so much. And Just Shapes and Beats is an indie game that was on Nintendo Switch. And Forza Motorsport, Forza Horizon 4 was on Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I tied them because they were so good. I had to give it a Titanfall 2 when that game came out for Game of the Year because it well deserved it. And when games could do that, and I don't nominate or look at any, or not nominate, I said when I don't include a lot of Nintendo games because those other games were good, that really tells you something. Because I'm kind of, I, I'm a Nintendo fan and an enthusiast, and pretty much Nintendo games mm, will come first before anything else. But if a game is phenomenal, and once again, if it's something that Nintendo can't do, I'm going to nominate that. And if I'm still talking about it and still getting enjoyment, that may become a game of the year for me. And it deals nothing with marketing.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
So, well, everybody, I think that's going to be it for Nintendo Pow Block. Corey, do you have any final thoughts?
Nope. No final thoughts for me, sir.
Okay. Um, for me, everybody, speaking of Game of the Year nominations, I think it's time to start getting ready to get your list together. I kind of, I will say this, I do want to see some indie game lists for Game of the Year's nominations, because I once again I just feel like the indie scene has kind of fallen back and I'm missing a lot of games. So I would like to see a lot of lists and recommendations and stuff of what I personally should be looking out for like a Game of the Year contender, or just games that I should play for from the indie scene. Because like in 2 weeks, once Mario Super Mario Wonder drop, we're gonna have a discussion about that game and
Yeah.
get something. And I think it's a demo playable at Target, Corey.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
Okay,
Yeah, I saw
so
that. Yeah, I think there's anywhere there's like demo kiosks, I think. You know.
so um, I just haven't heard any reports of what people thought about it besides the one that Phil Spencer talked about.
Yeah.
So. But with
So,
that, everybody, have a great week. Have a great weekend. And we will see you next time on Nintendo Power Block. Bye, everybody. Woohoo!
bye. If you want to be a Patreon producer, head on over to Patreon, patreon.com/bossrushmedia, and find out which tier is right for you. Our Patreon producers at the $5 tier or higher for this month are Adriel Munger, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, and Rebecca Jewell. Thank you for your continued support.